shape. So maybe this can be an inspiration for your work.
Where did you get your figures on the rent, the people whose rent is?
That's out of the Mason Matters data set that's on the web. It's 2010 data, but that's the most current they have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to speak this time?
Thank you, and good morning, Commissioners. Tom Davis, 170 West Bushy Road, and I want to take the opportunity to dovetail on Marilyn's comments because they're very appropriate to my own comments. There was some confusion regarding some conversations about the intent of, or the primary intent of Senate Bill 6330, and I kind of like to clear that up because I was a little confused myself. And so I read last night, at 4:40 this morning, I read the bill, the final version, second substitute Senate Bill 6330, which I believe was sponsored by Senator Sheldon with the help, if not the authorship, of Commissioner Jeffries. That's the way I seem to understand the conversation go. It's a good bill, and I like it, and what it does basically is it's got a give and take to it, but it's very clear what the bill is there for, and it opens up with an act relating to promoting affordable housing in unincorporated areas of rural counties within the urban growth areas. It's also the title of the bill. Nowhere in this bill does it say that the purpose of this bill is to pay off some capital improvements. This bill, matter of fact, you can go through all 8 pages of it. It doesn't mention the sewer system except for a targeted area in which you want to have the low-income housing. And so I want to make sure that we're all clear that that might have been the original intention of the bill when it was introduced. I'm not sure because I wasn't there. But the bill that the House and the Senate passed and the governor signed was for low-income housing. Now, having said that, we know we have a real problem in Mason County with affordable housing. So I would hate to see, and I think it's explained out in this bill, how this bill relates to tax deferments for developers who want to put 20% or more of their development as low income. And that does in fact follow, that deferment does in fact follow the sale. But let me just read a couple of lines from the bill, and you're probably more familiar with it than I am, but it is very clear. And it says, basically, a property owner seeking tax incentives under this chapter, and that would be RCW 84-14020, must commit to renting or selling at least 20% of the multifamily housing units as affordable housing units to low and moderate income households. That means the current owner has to even if he sells it, has to sell to people who are low or moderate income. And it even describes what low or moderate income is. So unless that condition exists, they don't get the exemption. And that is the intent, as I'm not a lawyer, but that seems to be a very clear intent of this bill. So I would hope that we would keep the original intent of the bill in mind and take advantage of it. The homelessness problem in Mason County goes through the whole spectrum of veterans and children and people who you might think may or may not deserve to be homeless. It doesn't make any difference. We have a sort of an out-of-control homeless problem in Mason County. And this is a small step, but it's a step. And I'd hate to think of it as a secondary purpose instead of a primary purpose of this bill, which I support fully. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Colin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Conley Watson. I live at 140 East Fox Lane. Yesterday, under the agenda for the business meeting, there was a subject, I talked to Mr. Pinter about this, was I think insurance on the fuel tanks around the commissioner. I talked to Mr. Pinter, and we both agreed that this is a federal thing, and there should be catch basins under each one. Now, I've done several of them for the FBI, for hospitals, for high rises, for fire. I've buried them either under subterraneans, where they have to have a double wall. If you remember back about 5-6 years ago, all the gas stations here in Mason County, if you wanted to sell gas, had to dig up their old tanks and put in double wall tanks. And if they're buried, I think they had to have an alarm system. Mr. Penner and I talked a great deal about this, and I just would warn you that if OSHA comes in, they're not very, very nice about not having catch basins underneath. Thank you. One other thing, as I remember in my times being, they always filled from the ground floor. And if one was under 3 levels of subterranean, at 70 to 75%, it cut off. Just like you go to a gas station and you're going to fill up, when it automatically kicks off, they do that rather than have a spill. Spill is very, very dangerous. I thank you.
Is there anybody further who would like to testify on an item that is not on the agenda? Hearing none, then we will go ahead and move to item number 6, which is the adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt the agenda as written.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
It has been moved and seconded that the agenda will be adopted as written. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, next we move on to item number 7, approval of the minutes, December 15th and 22nd briefing meeting minutes, and December 23rd, 2014 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Board of County Commissioners approve the December 15 and December 22nd briefing meeting minutes and the December 23rd, 2014 regular meeting minutes.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded for the approval of the December 15th, 22nd briefing meeting minutes and December 23rd, 2014 regular meeting minutes as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Item number 8, approval of the action agenda. All the items under the action agenda may be enacted by one motion unless a commissioner or a citizen requests an item to be removed from the action agenda and considered as a separate item. At this time, we will go ahead and read each of the items. We will turn to the audience at that point and ask if there's any questions that they may have in regards to any of the issues that are before us. If you have testimony, we would ask that you hold off and ask for it to be removed from this list for a separate vote. With that being said, I will do item number 8.1 through 8.3. Commissioner Jeffries, could you do 8.4 and 8.5? And Commissioner Sheldon, would you please do 8.6 and 8.7? Item number 8.1, now comes back to glasses, yes. Item number 8.1, approval to sign the letter of support for the Mason County Senior Activities Association request for a local community project grant from the Washington State Capital Budget to renovate the Senior Center building located at 190 West Century Drive in Shelton. Item number 8.2, approval to appoint Kathy Hay and Tammy Newton as commissioners of the Mason County Housing Authority Board to fill the unexpired terms ending on 8/14/2017 and 7/1/2016 respectively. Item number 8.3, approval of the board to authorize Public Works to advertise for construction project inspectors, contracted fee appraisers, construction material testing, and timber management services for the 2015 calendar year.
Item 8.4, approval for the board to authorize the Public Works Director to sign the time extension letter agreement with Mason County Garbage for the hauling and disposal of the recycling bins at the drop box stations and the Shelton Transfer Station. This contract will be extended to June 30th, 2015, or until a contract award is made through the required competitive bidding process. 8.5, approval for the board to set a public hearing for Tuesday, February 3rd, 2015 at 9:30 a.m. to consider the amendment to the franchise agreement between Mason County and Sandy's Waterfront LLC.
Mr. Chairman, 8.6 reads approval of warrants, claims clearing fund warrant numbers 8016829 through 8017140 in the amount of $2,214,445.52. Salary Clearing Fund, warrant numbers 7,734 through 7,759 in the amount of $417,635.94. And Direct Deposit Fund, warrants numbers 18679 through 19060 in the amount of $618,267.99. And finally, 8.7, approval of the 2015 Court Commissioner Professional Services Agreement with Robert Solander. The 2015 contract is for 20 hours of work per week, 0.5 full-time equivalent, with a salary of $58,636.13 per year. 0.4 full-time equivalent will be paid from the Superior Court budget, and 0.1 full-time equivalent will be paid through the Drug Court budget. Any additional work will be paid at $56.38 per hour.
Thank you. With that being said, now will be your opportunity to raise your hand and let me know if you have any questions regarding any of the issues that are before us. I will remind you, if you actually have testimony or comments you would like to make on the issue, please wait until after this point. We'll ask if we'd like to have something taken off for review, and we'll do that specifically to that item. With that being said, are there any questions in regard to any of these items that would help you to decide whether or not to have it taken off? Commission, any questions? Are there any items that the audience would like taken off for a separate vote and separate discussion at this time? Commissioners, any items to be taken off for?
Item 8.2, I'd like to have a separate vote.
Item number 8.2 will be removed from separate vote. Any other? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve items on the action agenda 8.1 through 8.3. I'm sorry, 8.1, 8.3, 8.4, 8.5, 8.6, and 8.7.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and seconded for the approval of the action agenda items. Items number 8.3 through 8.7, removing 8.2 for a separate vote discussion. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Item number 8.2, approval to appoint Kathy Haig and Tammy Newton as commissioners of the Mason County Housing Authority Board to fill unexpired terms ending 8/14/2017 and 7/1/2016 respectively. Would you prefer a presentation, or would you just like to go ahead and write a comment?
I would just make a motion that we divide the issue and vote on those two individuals separately.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
That was a motion.
I would second that.
There is a motion, a movement and a second to separate this item and vote on the two candidates separately. With that being said, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Kathy Haig to fill a position on the Mason County Housing Authority for an unexpired term ending August 14th, 2017.
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Kathy Haig to the Mason County Housing Authority Board to fill an unexpired term ending 8/14/2017. Is there any discussion?
I'm very thankful that Representative Haig, former Representative Haig is stepping up to this. Housing has always been very important to you, and if it's okay with the commission, I would like to.
Well, I have to say, would you
Can I
like
just make a brief comment?
Please.
Thank you very much. Kathy Haig, I guess I live at Southeast 211 Stottsbury Road. It's changed. I am excited about this position. I think it's interesting that the two previous speakers spoke about the housing problems that we have, or the challenges. I specifically come to this issue through education, which is my focus. Kids who don't have a home don't do well in school, and we have a lot of them, and we can identify them specifically through the education system, through the school system, and perhaps find ways to get those kids into stable housing. It is something they've been able to do through the Housing Authority in Tacoma. It's made a huge difference. And there are some other things we have to work with the banks to possibly get them to release some of the houses that have been foreclosed on and are sitting. So there's many, many parts to this. People are working at it from different angles, and hopefully through the Housing Authority, we can bring those many different causes for not having good low-income housing and move us forward in this county. I think it could make a huge difference for all of our families and our kids and the homelessness on the streets. So thank you very much for this appointment.
Mr. Chairman, just a comment, that maybe Representative Peggy, if you could stay there for a second. A couple things that come to mind with the Housing Authority. You know, we've had a Housing Authority that's really been two counties for a long, long time, Kitsap and predominantly Bremerton and Mason County. So that's really, I think, kind of stifled our development because of that. So do you have any ideas how we might?
Yes, I'm very aware of that. I would have to go back and find out the reasons for it being moved in the first place. I suspect there was a financial responsibility that was assumed and could be done more efficiently. There are more areas of government in Mason County that suffer from the same sort of thing. The leadership on some of our senior services and other things come from Thurston County, Grace Harbor, and Kitsap. And I believe if we can bring even one back to Mason County, our challenges are different. And if we bring the leadership back here to make these decisions, I think we'll do a better job. And so I will be working on that, whatever needs to be done.
And I think Kitsap has been, of course, it's dominated by the military, which is, it has different housing needs. They're not that there's a lack of support there, but there are different needs in Mason County than Kitsap. So I hope you can be successful in bringing back our housing authority to Mason County. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to comment, you know, Kathy, I'm proud to know you. And I tell you what, your actions speak louder than anybody else's words could ever speak. And the fact that after everything that occurs in our daily lives and all the things that occur in your life, that you continue to stand up again and do the work that's necessary to take care of this community. I just want to point out, I think we're damn lucky to have you.
I'll second that.
With that being said, is there any other further comment from anybody or any other testimony from the committee? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. There's no opposed, the motion carries. We move on to item number 2.222. Approval to appoint Tammy Newton as Commissioner of the Mason County Housing Authority Board to fill an unexpired term ending 7/1/2016 respectively.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the appointment of Tammy Newton to the Mason County Housing Authority Board to fill the unexpired term ending 7/1/2016.
Is there a second? I will second that motion. Is there any testimony, anybody who would like to testify at this time in regards to this motion? Please.
I wasn't anticipating this. I thought this would be a shoe at Tom Davis. I think Tammy's a good choice for this. I'm not sure why we're separating the two. It would have been nice to have some sort of explanation, and I suppose that will be forthcoming. But she's been extremely active in Habitat for Humanity, and she certainly has the credentials, and she certainly has the motivation to fill this position. So I'd like to see her. I'd certainly like to see her confirmed in this position. Thank you.
Any further testimony? Hearing none, we'll move into commissioners.
I have the privilege of serving under, or serving on the board of Habitat for Humanity with Tammy. Tammy has that rare combination of talents of both being keen, working in the nonprofit industry with a tremendous amount of business acumen and background. And those two don't always come together very well. And she does a phenomenal job of making sure that a nonprofit works in a very efficient manner that is that will save money, that uses money efficiently. And I think if anybody's going to make some major changes, help make some major changes to our housing authority, she would be a wonderful person to help lead that effort.
Commissioner Schultz?
Well, I asked for the item to be divided, which is a common motion. And the reason I did that is I will not be voting for Ms. Newton for this position, but I should owe you a little bit of an explanation. I understand that she is the director of the executive director of Habitat for Humanity. I think she chairs our housing coalition here as well as Mason County. So I think we need a diversity on this board. I go back, Kathy and I both served in the legislature a long time, but I go back to 1990 when I first became involved with the Housing Authority. And it was here in Mason County, we had our own authority. One of the strong people on the board also ran for office that year, and I got to know him quite well, Arnold Fox, who's passed away now. And Arnold was a landlord. He had quite a few properties here in Mason County, and he was very concerned about those properties and making sure that they were available to the low-income people of Mason County. And I think he worked very hard to do that, but he was a private sector person, first and foremost. He had to, that's how he made his living, and as I got to know him, I realized it didn't make him a very good living, but he was very, very concerned about all of his tenants. And I just think we need a little more diversity on the board. It's not anything against Ms. Newton personally, but that's why I want to make this statement. Thank you.
And yesterday we had discussions about conflict of interest and the like, but after further examination, I personally could not find any conflict of interest at this time. There could possibly be in the future if things change and there's a different way of doling out money, but at this point it does not exist that I can find in any way or manner. And of those, although diversity is good, of those that were that applied, Tammy was the highest qualified and of the candidates, and it was kind of issues on another end with another candidate. There was no other option, and I think it's a good one. So I will be voting in favor of it also. Any further discussion? Okay, then we'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor of to appoint Tammy Newton as Commissioner of the Mason County Housing Authority Board to fill an unexpired term ending 7/1/2016. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
The motion carries. Thank you very much. With that being said, we will go ahead and we did good there. We're going to go ahead and move right on into our public hearing. Item number 9.1, a public hearing to consider the application for a private line occupancy permit for Rika Jerstman and Washington Federal care of Novastar development of North Shore Road for sewer transportation line for parcels 3222-50-000025 and 3222-4-50-00925. Address is 10801 North Shore Road, Belfair, Washington. Staff reporting, Loretta.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
This is a simple private line occupancy permit, simply to allow the applicant to cross North Shore Road and access a drain field on the upslope property away from the shoreline. And as simple as that.
Are there any questions from the audience for staff? Are there any questions from the commission? Thank you, Loretta.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
for staff.
Yes,
Appropriate
please.
this time. Loretta, we did one of these just recently, a couple months ago, didn't we, at the summer tides, is that
Yes.
right? How far is this one away? Is this a separate?
This is a separate application. Summer tides, we will come back and revisit. We just set the hearing for that
Oh, yeah,
to
okay.
modify. Yes.
Okay, to modify.
Exactly.
This is not connected with that.
That's correct.
Is
This
this
is a
sim-
whole
is this
completely separate.
a similar type of?
It is similar,
Okay.
and we performed, well, not me personally, but a A geotechnical report is required if there are steep slopes, and so that work was done. We do review and make sure that all of those steps have occurred and coordinate with the other departments before setting the hearing.
Okay, so it'll be a line under the highway,
Yes,
pumping,
that's correct.
a pumping system to a drain field located on the hillside?
Yes.
And how many,
This is a single.
for only one residence?
Yes, that's correct.
It's 2 lots, 2 parcels, but with just one residence?
Yes.
Oh, just thought of a question. So will they be tearing up the road or will it?
They will be making a push, most likely,
Okay.
yes. In almost all instances, we require a push.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Hearing none, thank you, Rita. Is the applicant available or are they interested in making, hearing none? Okay, is there any testimony from the community? Then I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve a private line occupancy permit for Rika Gersman, Washington Federal, care of Nova Star Development on North Shore Road for sewer transportation line for parcels 3222-50-000025 and 32224-50-00925, address 10801 North Shore Road, Belfair.
Second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
It has been moved and seconded for the board to approve and execute a private line occupancy permit for Rika Gerstmann, Washington Federal, care of Nova Star Development on North Shore Road for sewer transportation line for parcels 3222-50-00025 and 3224-50-00925, and the address again was 10801 North Shore Road, Belfair, Washington. All in favor, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. There are no other public hearings to come before the board, so we'll move into item number 10, which is department heads and elected officials. Are there any department heads that would like to speak at this time? Any elected officials? Seeing none? We'll go ahead and move on to board reports and calendars. Who would like to go first?
Be happy to do that. So we did not have meetings either a briefing or a regular meeting last week. So during that time, I spent a tremendous amount of it in-house working on clearing my desk, frankly. And all the things that were piled up that I need to read on it and developing some proposals I'll be bringing to you folks for work items for us to concentrate on in 2015. I did meet with members of the Welfare Sewer Advisory Committee on the proposal for long-term financing, and had the privilege of being sworn in with all the other Mason County elected officials on the 30th. And I appreciated that opportunity to just kind of be part of the team. I met with and recruited a applicant to the Transportation Improvement Planning Group, and then met with our Public Works Director, and then attended the swearing in for our new judge, His Honor Dan Goodell. I was very tickled to have him there, and it was a very good turnout. It was a very good event. We had briefings yesterday, and I attended last night the Lower Hood Canal Watershed Coalition. They had a presentation on the streams that are candidates to be taken off what's called the DOD3 list, which are included. And so of the list, there were only 2 that potentially will not come off, but there's a lot of discussion around the inefficiency of how to do this. For instance, the data that's gathered to be able to prove that they're no longer polluted and contributing to pollution was gathered up to in the 2011-2012 period, and it will probably take another year for to actually go through the process of being delisted. And you have old data; they allow you to have 10-year-old data or nothing older, but it could almost get to the point that the data itself is 10 years old, and so there's a lot of discussion about how can we clean this whole process up. I had the privilege of being on KMAS this morning and speaking about some of the things I'd like to work on this year for 2015. And then following this meeting, we'll have a joint meeting with the City of Shelton with our 35th District representatives, legislative representatives, talking about our legislative priorities. Meet with the constituent later on this afternoon. I'm going to attend the MACECon Audit Exit Conference, State Audit Exit Conference tomorrow. Another constituent meeting and a meeting among people providing youth services with the director of the Community Youth Services for Mason and Thurston County, Charles Chelan, talking about how we can improve and increase the number of services. We have a meeting of the courthouse security on Thursday, and then I'll be meeting with the executive director of Hood Canal Coordinating Council, and then I'll attend the EDC luncheon, watch the Seahawk game on Saturday. I'm so excited, and then come back here for commission briefings on Monday.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. We had no meetings that previous week, last week in December, which is great because that meant we got the budget out for the 31st of December. So Frank, you got a day off.
Thank you.
That was nice.
Kind of day off.
I'm always kidding the other commissioners about, well, you'll be here on New Year's Eve. But I also did attend the swearing in for our new Superior Court Judge, Dan Goodell from Belfair. And I want to thank the judiciary for putting it on. They did a fantastic job. Our staff did a great job of really shining the courtroom up. It looked great. The cake was wonderful, but I think the outstanding part of it was Dan himself. I've attended a lot of swearing-ins, and I don't know that I can remember one where the individual made such a really passionate speech. And he's going to be a great addition, a wonderful family, and contributed so much to his community, and now is here serving all of Mason County as a new Superior Court judge. So we are very, very fortunate that he was appointed by the governor. So it's great. We're moving along, and had our briefings yesterday. Again, with Superior Court early in the morning and through the day. We had also some briefings in the afternoon yesterday. I met with a constituent from Lake Cushman. They're working on a bill for the legislature this year. We had a Chamber of Commerce, Shelton Mason County Chamber this morning send off at the Colonial House. I had some questions and a chance to meet some of the people and talk about the upcoming session as well, and some of the priorities we have as county local government officials as well. And we have a meeting at 10:30, is that right, at the Public Works Building with the City Commission, I think will be there, and...
As far as I know, it's just us. I don't have to report well this time.
Okay, all right, and that'll go from like 10:30 till 11:30 or so, I think. Interesting to note here, this week, Little Falls, which has been I've talked a little bit about over the course of the fall, summer and fall. They'll be starting up their generators up there, and hopefully be getting online very quickly. And that power will be sold to PUD 1, so it'll be local hydropower that will add to the portfolio of that small utility. So it's pretty exciting. That's a interesting history at Little Wap. That was actually a county park at one time, years and years ago. Private property. It was purchased, it left the county ownership, and then it was purchased by a fellow named Beardsley in 1941. And he built the house, the generating station. The seaplane hangar is still there out at the south end of Little Wap Bay. Very innovative person, and actually at Christmas time he had a 65-foot yacht that he would decorate with all kinds of Christmas lights, and had his own Christmas parade on the Hood Canal. So interesting. But the generation station was severely damaged in a storm in 2007, I think it was. So it's been offline for quite a while. So it's great to have that back. I'll be meeting with the PUD 3 and PUD 1 at the Public Power Council during the middle of this week, And then we'll be back here on Monday for briefings. It'll be the 12th at 9 a.m. and then the legislature convenes at noon. And then our county commission meeting is 9 a.m. on Friday, Tuesday the 13th. I'll be here, but I may have to leave a little bit early. Our sessions, joint session starts at 11:30, so that's what's coming up.
Okay. Same, we had Christmas, it was actually my calendar, somebody put it in there, I appreciate the staff, it said Christmas all day. That's what it said, so I'm glad to be reminded. I will miss saying Merry Christmas to everybody. Reporter of the Kitsap Sun, met with him in regards to the sewer. The sewer is going to be the main thing over again. Sewer Advisory Committee, I'll just do it short, say three different times, and then individuals, another 4 different times. I met with somebody in regards to multifamily housing. They're getting so close, they came down to start the process. Looks like close to 30 units in Belfair, and I don't care, anybody says, that's pretty doggone good. That tickles me to death. We had a regular briefing, I had a Port of Allen meeting I attended, and a Left Board meeting this morning. Let's see, this next week, we have the joint meeting with the city. After this, I have EDC retreat, the West Sound Alliance on the transportation issues for the region. I have at least one sewer advisory meeting I will be attending again, then meeting with individuals. A legislative steering committee for the WASAC conference call, Trails in Lake potluck, and we have another thing, I'm not sure whether I can make it, I'm going to try in regards to the Hood Canal Porting Council and the effects of the Hood Canal Bridge on the Hood Canal. And with that being said, I'd like to thank Commissioner Jeffries for the year that he just put in his chair. You did a very wonderful job, and you really did quite a bit. I watched you learn quite a bit, and you went out and got your own education on top of it and brought some of it back, and it was very much appreciated. That all those meetings that we end up taking in all those little classes on all these things, it does come back to haunt you over and over again, I'll guarantee you.
Thank you.
With that being said, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, before I make that motion, Mr. Chairman, I also want to thank Commissioner Jeffries for serving as chair this past year. He did a great job. You were very involved in it, and I think we'll probably have that role again.
Well, I warn you, I'm not going to get uninvolved.
Well, it is traditional to rotate the chair every year, and thank you for your service as chair. I'm sure you'll be doing it.
Thank you. Thank you.
With that being said, I'll still entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move that we adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.